Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the new moon in Aquarius, setting off the new year in 2025. This new moon is different than the other new moons in Aquarius we've had over several years because now we have Pluto here and things are changing. So to talk about this, we have to talk about the pileup that is in Aquarius at this time. And the new moon in trine with Jupiter, this is all going to manifest as it relates to taking steps towards the community that you want to see in the world, right? We each have a part in co-creating destiny. We each have a part in co-creating what we want to see humanity going towards. And really, that's what this new moon is all about. What serves us? What is the deeper meaning behind connectedness with other people? So for this new moon in Aquarius, it's happening at 9 degrees and 51 minutes. Mercury has just come off the exact conjunction with Pluto on its way into Aquarius. And so what this all says, these 4 planets here, well, 2 luminaries, 2 planets, it's a stellium. And what does that mean? Stelliums mean that there is a gravity to the sign significations, to the planets that are in that sign, and all of that. So for this new moon, we have a new beginning. We have a letting go of the old, right? So think of this as a seed point to the next 20-something years that Pluto is in Aquarius, right? And it moves out in 2043. So from now until 2043, with this new moon, this is like a kickoff, if you will, if we're looking at it in terms of sports, that initial kickoff to the next 20 years. So with this new moon, there are new beginnings. There's a release of the old. Things are not going to be the same as they were because Pluto has already ingressed into Aquarius and it is now here and it's staying here. So this combination of planets is one that can be transformational. It can be long lasting, but it's more about the future. What do we want our future to be and how do we want to create it? Mercury is about thoughts, communications. Pluto is about depth and focus and obsessions, as well as the truth, right? The sun and the moon are our luminaries. A new moon means a new beginning. But it's not before we let go of the old. And that's what needs to happen here. Now, it isn't a fixed sign. So fixed signs do not like to release or let go of things. They like to hold on to things well past their expiration date. But with Pluto here, if it doesn't serve your soul purpose, it's gone. No matter how much you want to kick and scream and keep it, it's going to be gone. Unless it serves you, unless it serves that deep inner core of who you are and who you're becoming. Because when it comes to signs, Aquarius is a sign of future. It's a sign of looking to the future, which means this new moon is setting off what we want our future to look like. So it's important at this time to manifest, to hold in your mind, to do some journaling, to do some writing, to do some vision boards, anything like that, to look to your future. Who are you? What do you want to contribute to society? What do you want society to look like? And as you can see from my background that I alluded to earlier, this is the future that I want to see for us. Might not be the future that is currently being co-created, but it's still one that I am hopeful that we can achieve at some point. Now, the trine to Jupiter is super, super awesome, and it's close. You know, this new moon is happening at 9 degrees. Jupiter is at 11 degrees of Gemini. So Jupiter, while it's not in a great placement sign-wise, because it is in Gemini, it is in its detriment, it's still there. It's still functioning. It's still doing its thing. So, but currently it's retrograde. So we're evaluating things at the moment when it comes to this new moon, when it comes to what it is that we're releasing and what it comes to what it is that we're evaluating in terms of either our communications, the people that we associate with, with that Aquarius and Gemini. It's also who we're talking to and how we're talking to them, right? Because Jupiter being retrograde is very introspective. It's not necessarily about outward growth and development. It's more about the internal growth and development. It's understanding at a deeper level, especially with Jupiter, right? Who you are, what you're learning, how you're learning it, right? Jupiter is a benefactor. It can expand whatever it touches, but it's also a planet of knowledge. It's a planet of wisdom. And so with this new moon in trine with Jupiter, we can have an innate understanding. And trines are easy. So if you don't focus on it, if you don't do something with it, the good vibes will just pass you by. And most people do become a little lazy when it comes to trines, I myself included. I'm not going to sit here on a pedestal and say, I don't do that. Yeah, I do. Everybody does. But if we utilize this, and I'm telling you just as much as I'm telling myself, we can co-create the future that we want as long as we understand who we are and how we want to communicate that to other people. So that's what I have for this new moon in general. There's a bunch of other things going on as well. I'm looking at a chart. I'm not looking at my screen. I'm looking at a chart. And so I will share this chart and we will actually dive in to all 12 signs and how this will hit each of us. And because this new moon is happening in Aquarius, we will talk about Aquarius first and we'll go on from there. So a little bit different makeup. I hope you like this. If you like it, like it. If you feel so called, share. And please subscribe to my channel because it helps me grow, get my name out there, and promote my work as well. So this new moon in Aquarius for Aquarius rising. This new moon in your sign with all of these planets here is telling you, Aquarius, that this is a new beginning for you. Who are you, Aquarius? With Pluto having transited your 12th house for the last 17 years, now it's in your first house. So all of those unconscious, deep changes that have happened in your unconscious mind, either in your dream realm or in your astral body or whatever you believe in your unconscious, things have changed there. And so now with Pluto here in the first, your conscious self, who you are, your body is changing. And who are you, Aquarius? If you don't know who you are, the transit of Pluto over the next 20 years is going to really show you who you are. This new moon here with Mercury is showing you the magic of what's coming. And when I say that because Mercury is here with Pluto, and Mercury rules your 8th house as well as your 5th house. And so 8th house has more to do with occult sciences, astrology, things like that. So if you're an Aquarius rising and you want to understand astrology, the next 20 years would be a great time to do it. Now, when it comes to magic, it also has to do with traumas and psychological wounding and things like that. But with new moons, people often focus on the new beginnings and not the release or the letting go aspect of it. So for you, Aquarius rising, a lot of you will be releasing and letting go of old traumas, wounds, things like that. And especially with the South Node here in the sign of Virgo, it's letting go of all of these things, right? Now, it might not be easy over the coming months just because things have to come up in order for us to deal with them. So that could be what's going on for you with this new moon over the course of the next, month, lunar cycle, or the next 6 months until we have the full moon in Aquarius. But there is support, there is help. Jupiter is in trine. What are your creative hobbies? What do you love to do because you love to do it? And some of you could even be, especially if you're women, having a baby. That's going to completely transform who you are. Some of you, not so much. This could have more to do with romantic partners, as in lovers or love affairs. This could have to do with children, but it could also have to do with hobbies, right? And taking those hobbies and doing something with them. So over the course of the next, like I said, lunar cycle or the next 6 months, there could be releasing old, outdated things that you should have released a long time ago, but you held on to it out of some sense of obligation or duty. And now you're moving into the next phase of who you are and who you're becoming. Because personally, I don't believe that we are stagnant or should stay stagnant in our lives. We should always be growing and moving. And that is very apparent for you, Aquarius rising, over the next several months. Okay. Pisces and Pisces rising. This new moon is happening in your 12th house, Pisces. This has a lot to do with what's going on behind the scenes, either in your dreams, specifically in your unconscious realm, or just behind the scenes. So when it comes to you, Pisces, with Mercury here with Pluto, there could be some very deep, very profound transformation that's going on behind the scenes, either with a partner or with someone that you have a contract with, right? There's something going on here because Mercury rules your 7th house. The South Node is here too. So your partner could be releasing something. Your partner could be releasing something, or you and your partner could be releasing each other. That is a possibility as well. But when it comes to this, it could also mean that there's deep psychological changes that are happening with Mercury, with this conjunction with Pluto. And this new moon that's happening, there's a need to let go of secrets. There's a need to let go of things that no longer serve you, that you've been holding on to, right? With fixed signs, it's apparent, they hold on to everything until they're outdated. When it comes to your 12th house, this has to do with secrets. This has to do with, things that are behind the scenes, things we don't tell people about, things like that. Now with the trine to Jupiter, this is happening in the 12th and in the 4th house. And so this trine to Jupiter, you could be reevaluating at this time who you live with, where you live, or there could be things going on either, in the home that need to be reevaluated, or there could be things going on with your parents specifically that they're reevaluating things too, right? This is your family, this is your parents, this is where you come from. And so your focus, because you are a Pisces rising, is on home and family, and it has been for a while, or where you live specifically, or your parents. With this new moon happening in your 12th house, this could be a need to let go, especially of outdated beliefs or outdated things that go on with you and the people that you live with or your parents. That can also be a thing here. Now, with new moons, people emphasize new beginnings, but I want to emphasize the release of the old because of this trine with Jupiter being in retrograde at this time. You're reevaluating things at a much deeper soul level, especially with Pluto in Aquarius in your 12th house. So that soul contract that you have with others, or who you came in with, or even past lives, if that's something that you believe in. So just so you're aware of that. Aries and Aries rising. This new moon is happening in your 11th house of social networks, people that you associate with by choice. This also has to do with charities. This is the place where we find social media, like Facebook and things like that. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Red Note, TikTok, all of those things are 11th house related. You've had Pluto transiting your 10th house for the last 15 years, 17 years, something like that. And now it's in your 11th house. And so this is going to really see you getting very clear on who it is that you want to bring with you into that future that you want to create for yourself, Aries. And so with this, Mercury being conjunct Pluto, this is really taking a deep look and being obsessive about hopes, wishes, dreams, goals, aspirations, even the money you want to make from your career. If you have a career, if you have like a business or something like that, the money that you want to make from that business can definitely have associations with this house as well. But it's also letting go of the people or the organizations or the groups that you don't want to be a part of anymore because you just don't believe in them any longer. And so with this new moon, there is that release, there is that letting go. With Jupiter in the third house in trine with this new moon, this is definitely one where you're going to be talking about it. You're going to be maybe not overtly talking about it because Jupiter is retrograde at this time, but you're going to be having conversations, maybe with individuals or smaller groups of people, or, you know, with your siblings or something like that. But this is about you releasing and talking about the people and the things that you want to let go of. And this could be really good if you have a close friend that you talk to, if there is a sibling or a cousin that you talk to, or an aunt or an uncle, having those conversations and, you know, working through it in a way that you can understand that, you know, I really don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be associated with this, and let it go. A lot of people associate new moons with new beginnings. Yes, there are new beginnings and new moons, but first you have to let go. And being that this is the first new moon in Aquarius with Pluto here, there's a letting go that needs to happen before we can create the future that we want to create in this specific house where Pluto is transiting. So that's really what I want to say to people. Okay, for Taurus and for Taurus rising, this new moon is happening in your 10th house, Taurus. This is a brand new beginning in terms of your career, your public reputation, and things like that. But you can't emphasize enough. First, there needs to be something that you let go of. There needs to be something that you need to transform here. And this is going to be something that's kicked off for the next 20 years that Pluto is transiting the sign. So with this first new moon, you know, Mercury is involved. Mercury is here in the 10th house as well with Pluto. And so there's a deep obsessive component to this of, you know, in your mind, obsessive compulsive, of getting clear, getting to the bottom of things, deep research, things like that. With this new moon happening here, there is definitely a release, a letting go with the trine the Jupiter in the second house. This could even be you setting yourself up to release something old to set yourself up for new financial abundance when it comes to the future that you want to create for yourself, for your career. Jupiter is retrograde. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be an outward expansion of your money. You know, Jupiter is more inwardly focused, like maybe you're re-evaluating what's going on with your finances and understanding that things need to change going forward, and this is how it's going to change. Okay. And for Gemini and Gemini rising, this new moon is happening in your 9th house. And so there could be outdated beliefs, there could be outdated dogmatic kind of fixed ways of looking at who you are in the world and your place, and letting go of that, right? People emphasize the new beginnings with new moons. I'm emphasizing the endings because this is the first new moon that we've had here with Pluto. So in order to create the future that we want to create, first we have to let something go. So with this, we have Pluto, Mercury together at this new moon. This is very deeply obsessive. It's almost like you're digging in and excising the demons from your mind, right? Because the 9th house is really the bigger picture of how we see things, right? And you've been evaluating this within yourself as well, because Jupiter has been transiting your first house. So there is this expansive quality to who you are and how you show up. Jupiter being retrograde, it's definitely a very inwardly focused Jupiter right now. In trine with this new moon, this is more about really understanding who you are, the power that you actually have in the world around you, right? Because when it comes to Pluto, Pluto is all about power, right? Power, control, things like that, obsessive, compulsive, all those things too. With Mercury here, there's an understanding and an obsessive quality to it, Mercury and Pluto together, of really digging in and excising things, right? With Jupiter being retrograde in the first house in trine with this new moon and this release that you're having of who you thought you were versus who you actually are, for some of you, others of you, it could take a little bit. But with Jupiter being retrograde here in trine, you've been reevaluating who you are anyway. You've been reevaluating, okay, well, maybe I'm not who I thought I was. Maybe I'm stronger than I thought I was, right? There could be revelations here with this new moon happening in your ninth house. And so with Jupiter here in the first, especially being retrograde, you could really be digging in and understanding who you are at a more core level and releasing outdated ideologies of who you think you are or thought you were in the world. All right, and for Cancer rising, this new moon is happening in your 8th house. So this is the house of debt, of taxes, of money, other people's money, of loans, inheritance. This is definitely insurance as well. And so with this new moon here, there could definitely be a release, a letting go of outdated traumas that you just haven't excised yet. With Pluto here, it's going to help you get really clear and really obsessive on either psychology, astrology, magic, occult sciences, hermeticism, all of these things, right? And really with Mercury here, there is this obsessive quality about it and this deeper understanding of what is hidden behind the scenes, right? With this new moon here, there's a release that needs to happen of old, outdated things, whether or not this is money, whether or not this is debt that you've had that you just haven't been able to release. There's definitely something going on here in terms of your finances. Now, with the trine to Jupiter and this new moon, and everybody emphasizes new moons as new beginnings, I'm emphasizing the endings. There's something here that's ending for you that has been a long time coming, Cancer. A long time coming. Old traumas, old wounds, old debts, right? This is also with Jupiter in the 12th house and especially being retrograde. To me, this is you evaluating past life connections in a way, right? If you believe in that, or connections from your deep past. It could be something like that, where if it no longer serves you, you're not carrying it forward with you. And both of these houses, the 8th and the 12th, they're hidden houses, but they're houses that you can do that deeper inner work of releasing those soul contracts, releasing those karmic debts, if you will, because Pluto is another planet of karma. But with this trine to Jupiter, there could be an ease and a way to release it. And especially with Jupiter being retrograde in the 12th house, you know, releasing and letting go and coming to that understanding. And especially in the air signs with these two things happening, there could be thoughts that are forming that just form for you that, oh, this is what I need to release, and then extrapolate that to this is where it comes from. That's why I do or say this thing. This is why I sabotage myself in this area of my life. This is why this happens, right? Like there is a deep, overwhelming catharsis that could be happening for you over the next lunar cycle, over the next 6 months until we get to the full moon in Aquarius later on in the summer. So that's what I have for Cancer. For Leo and for Leo rising, this new moon is happening in your 7th house. And so there is a need, a want, and a desire for you. You've seen this coming. You've seen it with Pluto here. And now there's kind of this obsessive focus on contracts, agreements, on partnership with other people, on connecting with the right people, not just weird and different people just because you like weird and different people. This is about connecting very deeply one-on-one with another person or other people, right? And especially if you have a spiritual business, this is more about connecting with those clients that you want, connecting with the partners that you want going forward, because maybe there's something here that needs to be let go of. And I'm emphasizing the endings that need to happen here versus the new beginnings, because this is the first new moon we've had with Pluto here. And Pluto in the early degrees is revealing so much about what's going on in this area of life for all of us, and specifically for Leo risings. Who are you partnering with? Are they right for you? Right? Are they, if you're married or if you're getting married, are you sure that this person is that deep soul level connection that you crave, right? Minus all the freedoms that you want because you're a Leo and Aquarius is your descendant. So you like unique and different people. You like people that will leave you alone a lot of the time, depending on your chart, obviously. But having Aquarius as a descendant, it also could mean that you like weird and different people. You you like the oddballs of society. But with Pluto here, it's really, and with Mercury, it's about really understanding and excising any demons that you have here in the seventh house. Who are you partnering with? Why are you partnered with them? Maybe you come to a deeper understanding of who you're partnered with and whether or not you want to be partnered with them, because maybe they're not who you thought they were. It could be that as well. With this new moon here in trine with Jupiter in the 11th house, you know, the support or the realization or the actualization comes from your goals, your wishes, your dreams, your aspirations, the people that you associate with in terms of group connections. Who are you connecting to on social media? Who are you connecting to when it comes to the people that you want to associate with? And with Jupiter here being in retrograde at the time of this new moon, this could mean that there's been an evaluation going on of who you're connecting to and how you're connecting with them. And also, you know, whether or not you are making the money that you want from the career or the business that you have. And if that's not the case, then, you know, those contracts and those agreements, that needs to change for you. So that's what's going on here for Leo risings. And for Virgo and for Virgo risings, this is happening in your sixth house of your daily work, your life, your health, your routines, your colleagues, your coworkers, the people that work with you. This could also be employees if you're you know, a business owner and you have employees. And so there's a need, a want, and a desire to release either a job or something that you're doing every single day. With Pluto here and this new moon, this is the first new moon that we've had in the sign of Aquarius with Pluto here. And so there is definitely this deep soul urge to connect with a routine or connect with a job or something that you're doing every single day at a deeper core level. And especially with your chart ruler here, this is your chart ruler. Mercury rules your chart. It is your avatar. And so with it connected with Pluto, there is definitely this laser focused kind of obsessive quality about what you're doing every single day. And this new moon is releasing, like, what does not serve you here in the daily life that you have? What do you want going forward? With the trine to Jupiter up in your 10th house, you've been reevaluating who you are in your career, the business that you have. You've been reevaluating this because maybe you had a bunch of success and now you've hit a bunch of roadblocks. And this isn't for everyone. This is just what I'm saying in general, trying to keep it generic here. But with Jupiter being retrograde, there's a reevaluation that's happening in terms of what you're doing. And with this trine going on, there could be realizations and moments of, oh, this is what I need to do. It's not necessarily time to begin. It's time to weed out and let go of what no longer serves you. And it's going to be easy, you know, letting go of something in your daily life. Okay, Libra and Libra rising. This new moon is happening in your 5th house. And so this has a lot to do with love affairs, romance, sex, children, hobbies, things that you love to do, things that excite you and make you happy. This new moon is about releasing. Like, have you been doing something because you used to love doing it, Libra, but now you don't love it so much anymore and there's a need to walk away from it? This new moon is highlighting that because I'm emphasizing the endings that need to happen. This is the first time we've had a new moon here in Aquarius with Pluto. It's more about the release and the letting go and getting very clear, very focused, and very obsessed about the future that you want to create in this area. So to do that, we first have to let things go. So with this, we have Mercury, which makes you a little bit more obsessive about it. There could be things going on here in terms of lovers, love affairs, things like that, Libra risings. Some of you could be getting really focused on sexy time with a partner. Maybe things have been a little stagnant there and you're revamping that love life. For others of you, there could be things going on in terms of children or any old traumas or wounds or things like that with children. That could be a thing too, where you're letting go of all of those things. There could also be a new beginning being seated here around the future that you want or whether or not you want to have children. So for those of you that don't want to have children, right, going forward, this could be a thing for you. For those of you that want to have children, there could be something that's going on here over the next several years, right? Pluto transiting your fifth house until 2043 that gets you very clear, very focused, and very obsessed about your passions, about children, about, the hobbies that you do and being super laser focused about doing them. Now, the trine to Jupiter is in your ninth house. And so what this could mean is that Jupiter is retrograde at the time of this new moon. It is in your ninth house. You're reevaluating who you are and your belief system at this time, right? So with this, Jupiter is a planet of knowledge and expansion. The ninth house has associations with dogmatic belief systems. It also has a lot to do with knowledge and understanding. And with this going retrograde here in the ninth house, Jupiter, there could be a reevaluation of who you thought you were in the world versus who you are becoming or who you actually are. Now, this trine is helping you to really understand who you are and what lights you up, because maybe it's not the same thing it was 5 years ago. Maybe it's not the thing it was 2 years ago, right? But now there is this desire to become something more. And so that's what's going on for Libra and Libra rising. So for Scorpio and Scorpio rising, this new moon is happening in your fourth house of home, family, property, of place of living, dwelling, also your parents, your family, right? Your place of origin, your ancestors. Now, Scorpio, Pluto is the modern ruler of Scorpio. Mars, though, I tend to lean more towards Mars. I do like the traditional planets as rulers of Scorpio and Aquarius and Pisces, versus the modern rulers or the modern planets. But Pluto, I can't discount it, is one of your chart rulers when it comes to your sign. And there's something here in this fourth house, either on the home or, with the family, that you need to release old traumas, old wounds, old things like that. This could also even be with Mercury here. Like, if you haven't checked your duct work, you might want to. Some of you, right? Especially if you own your own home or you live in an apartment building, watch out for like weird mold spores in the air. That's what I could say for that. But otherwise, this is a release or a letting go of a way of being in the home, behind the scenes. What do you want to come home to, Scorpio? And if you're at retirement age, where do you want to retire to? Do you want to stay in the home that you're in, or do you want to leave? Do you want to move? Now, the other thing that's going on here is this trine to Jupiter. So I'm focusing on the release and the letting go because this is the first new moon that we're having in Aquarius with Pluto. Pluto is here. It's going to be here for the next 20 years. But in order to start those new beginnings, you have to first let something go, something die and disintegrate out of your life. With the trine to Jupiter up there in the eighth house and it's retrograde, this could be either reevaluating or deciding to look at maybe refinancing a home if you own it, or looking at getting a loan to buy a home. That could be something here. This could also be debt that is accrued via the home or insurance claims that need to be gone after or sought after, or that maybe are in some type of holding pattern with Jupiter retrograde here. Once it goes direct, that could be alleviated. I want to keep it real world at times versus going off into woo-woo. So for this, it could definitely be that mundane everyday, like there's something going on in the home and there's something to go on with either other people's money, your partner's money, or debt or finances that have to do with the home. If you're purchasing a home at this time, it could be something that is maybe a fixer-upper or something that you truly desire to own and possess. There could be that obsessive quality about it too. That's what I have for Scorpio. And for Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising, this new moon is happening in your third house. And the third house has a lot to do with communication. It has a lot to do with short distance trips. It has a lot to do with what it is that you're thinking and speaking on, or who you're speaking to. And so with this third house new moon that's happening, this is definitely one of those times where there's a release of the old. There's an obsessive quality about this too, when it comes to maybe partners or partnerships, just because Mercury is involved here with Pluto. And Mercury does rule your seventh house of partnerships, of one-to-one connections with other people, whether or not this is clients, if you have a client-based business, or whether or not this is a spouse or some type of contractual agreement that you're working on. Now, with this, there is like this obsessive quality to it because Pluto is here, or, speaking on occult sciences or something like that. But it's really hyper-focused and fixated on speaking correctly and letting go of what no longer serves you. With the trine to Jupiter, this could actually expand. Jupiter is retrograde, so understand that it's not necessarily an outward expression of Jupiter. It's more of an internal expression, but understanding partnerships at a deeper level and how you connect to other people, how you speak to other people could definitely be something that's going on here. And with this trine to Jupiter in this new moon, there's a need to let go of something, a way of doing things, a way of speaking, a way of moving through the community or something like that you live, to have those deeper connections that you want here with Jupiter, because you're reevaluating your partnerships. You're reevaluating who you're in partnership because Jupiter rules you, right? Jupiter is your chart ruler. And so you've been reevaluating this whole partnership thing for a while. Once Jupiter goes direct, once we have the full moon in Leo, or we have in 6 months' time, we have the full moon in Aquarius, you'll see the results of what's going on here at this time, whatever it is that you're letting go. I want to emphasize the letting go portion because this is the first time we've had a new moon with Pluto in your third house, and it's the first one of many over the coming 20 years. So there's definitely an emphasis on excising those demons, as they say, and getting out what doesn't serve you in terms of the communication that you're doing. And for Capricorn, sorry about that, Cappy. This new moon is happening in your second house of finances. Are you making the money that you want to make? If not, you could be blowing everything all up and not making any money at all, or you do something that creates wealth for yourself, because Pluto is definitely a burn it all down and rise from the ashes type energy. As it relates to, your finances, what you're spending your money on, how you're spending your money, there could even be associations in terms of your work. Maybe you're reevaluating what it is that you're doing for work. If it doesn't serve you, release it and let it go. Obviously, be mindful about making sure you have something else lined up that fits you at a core level more so than, you know, it does now. But don't just up and leave a job just because you want to leave a job. We don't live in an economy where that's possible. So make sure you have something lined up. I would say that's my advice, before you leave a job that maybe you just really don't want to be at. Because this trine with Jupiter in the sixth house, with Jupiter being retrograde, is you reevaluating what it is that you're doing for work, what it is that you're doing every single day, what it is that you are trying to do for work, and all of that. So there's a transformation that's going to be happening in terms of your finances, and it could take a little bit to get moving, but stick with it, right? I mean, Pluto is that obsessive kind of compulsive energy of like obsessing about things. With Mercury here too, and this new moon, there's a need to let go of it, like psychologically, all of that. But good things could transform here for you over time, either when we hit that full moon in Leo in a couple weeks, or when we hit that full moon in Aquarius this summer. There could be revelations going on in terms of what it is that you've changed here, what it is that you have let go of, or that you're trying to excise out of your life, right? So there is that. So that is what I have for you today, my lovely friends. So thank you so much. If you like this, please like. If you want to share it with a friend of yours or friends, that's fine too. I encourage that, please. And please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be trying to be more consistent here. New and full moon forecasts and anything that I deem super important that I want you to know about will be here on my channel, as well as on my Instagram, moonapogee_astrology. So thank you so much. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Let me know in the comments how it goes. Thanks, everyone.